Let's talk about the top stories at this hour. The Reserve Bank of India leaves repo rate unchanged but cuts SLR by 100 basis points. Governor D. Subba Rao says this will increase lending to the private sector in the wake of slowing investments.
RBI Governor Subba Rao sees no respite from inflation despite slowing growth. The central bank hikes the FY13 inflation guidance by 50 basis points to 7% as outlook for oil and food prices turn uncertain.
A panel of empowered group of ministers would meet today to discuss measures to deal with a likely drought situation. On the agenda are likely curbs on commodity futures and additional subsidies to farmers.
Indian markets slide to the day's low after the RBI announces its policy stance. Banks and capital goods are the worst hit sectors, and the Nifty is set to end lower for the month of July as weak corporate earnings dampen sentiment. So certainly the policy stance hasn't been digested very well by the broader markets. So we got off to a start of 5,200. Now it's a far cry from that level. It's 5,172. That's a 0.5% off for the index, and 17,070 is being held on to by the Sensex as we speak. You've got the broader markets too, which are seeing quite a bit of a shave off, and the advanced decline ratio is also firmly in favor of the losing side. It's banking and capital goods counters as well as the metals pack, which all in all is the big pressure point. Some of the top losers, Bharti Airtel off by close to 3%. Most of your banking counters, particularly led by an SBI, you've got IDFC, PNB, all of them are down and out, as well as the Kotak Mahindra Bank in today's session. From the metals pack, it's SAIL which is leading the down move. You've got BHEL, Hindalco, as well as M&M and Tata Steel, which are some of the other losers in today's session. On the gaining side, it's clearly the defensives which are rearing their heads up. So you've got Wipro as well as Cipla and Grasim Industries, along with an ACC and Ranbaxy, which are holding up. Let's also take note of some earnings which have come in on your screens, and that's for an Ipca Laboratories. The only figure that we've got with us at hand is the bottom line as of now, and that has come in at a figure of 43 crore rupees. It's been fairly muted for the counter from the word go, so 400 is where the counter started off, not really reacting to those numbers, so still off by 1.2% at 393. Let's bring on board our two technical experts then for the next 1 hour. We've got with us Rajat Bose of RajatKBose.com joining in from Kolkata, and Prakash Gaba, CFT of PrakashGaba.com right here in Mumbai. I'll start off with you, Rajat. Given that the selling pressure seems to have intensified on the index, where do you see the Nifty headed now?
See, the Nifty has major support between, say, 5160 and 5139. This was supposed to act as a strong resistance for the Nifty yesterday. For a time it did, and then the Nifty moved above that. But now today, unless we see that this particular support zone is breached and violated with heavy selling, that means volume-based selling happening. Otherwise, this is just a retracement after a huge run-up yesterday. That is the kind of scenario that you can envisage as of now. But suppose if you were to really fall below 5139, in that case you are likely to move down to something like 5120 to about 5108 kind of support area. And on the upside, if once again you start trading above, say, 5185, then you are onto stronger territory once again, and you can see 5200 being rescaled. But I believe it would be more of a range-bound trading activity today after a huge run-up yesterday. But later on, towards the end session, you will see some buying coming in, because hope never dies. US Fed bringing in QE3 or something, so the market would push up, or that kind of a sentiment would prevail towards the end. That's what I anticipate.
Prakash, what about specific stocks? What is it that you're recommending?
Well, I'll go with 2 buys and 1 sell. I think I'd like to go buy on Geometric. Looks good to me. I like the structure, the way it's moved out between 85 and 90. I would say 90 is a strong support zone. Give some time. Should go to closer to around 100. It's a good up move from here. And second is HDFC, my favorite. Looks like 680 is a very, very strong support on HDFC. Looks like it should go to levels closer to 690, 692 zones. So there is a trading opportunity alongside on HDFC as well. And the third stock that I would like to short is Bharti. Looks to me weak structurally, is looking tired around the regions of 310, 312 zones. I would have a very tight stop of 305 and expect it to go to closer to around 290 in the days to come. So there is some kind of a tiredness in Bharti Airtel.
Okay, so that's the word coming in. Going long on HDFC as well as Geometric, shorting a Bharti Airtel. But let's find out and get a 360-degree view on the market, find out what the unusual movers are as well as what the buzz is on Dalal Street. Gargi Parikh as well as Ajay Sharma join in from our research team. I'll start off with you, Gargi.
Well, take a look at Gulf Oil, and it's a good move that we are seeing on the counter. In fact, the news coming in that it's entered into a development pact with Hindujas for a particular land parcel, and they've agreed to a sharing ratio of 35:65. 76 acres of land is what they are planning to develop in Hyderabad. Currently, 6% gains coming in on Gulf Oil. A good move. They're good volume action also if you compare it with the last 5-day average. Hexaware, on the other hand, negative sentiment building up on that counter. We have, the results for the second quarter that they've announced today. The revenues in dollar terms, that's at $91 million versus 88 million. However, the rupee revenues, just a marginal increase. They're 500 crores versus 438 crores. It's more or less in line with what we estimated, but probably the EBITDA margins that has come in almost flat from last year level, not really exciting the markets. About 3% decline on Hexaware 2 for today's session. Sun TV, and a good move on that counter. If you look at the news that is developing here, they have entered into an agreement with Arasu TV for media distribution, and that's probably going to add more revenues to the company. Sun TV also keeping the momentum high, about 5% increase the last time I checked.
Oh yes, indeed. Thanks a lot for that, Gargi. So those are some active stocks in trade. To Ajay now for getting a sense of what is he hearing on the street. Ajay.
Well, Neeraj, Titan Industries is where a lot of aggressive shorting happened at the start of the day, and even now the stock is in the downside, 1 rupee down about 0.5%. It went down to as low as 229 or thereabout, mostly on anticipation that the results, the first quarter numbers, could be on the weaker side, and dealers were suggesting shorting. Also expecting quite weak commentary from the management side in the analyst call, and this is, remember, one quite overowned stock in the institutional side. A very good convention proxy also. So if it disappoints, dealers believe that there could be a significant downside, and hence they're maintaining their short.